What's up, guys? This is Mandala on Mandala Loves Jesus, and today we're gonna read Matthew 5:33, and we will talk about the topic swearing. Jesus is talking about swearing here, and he says, "Again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. But let your communication be, Yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil." So here Jesus is talking about that instead of swearing something that eventually you will be unable to fulfill, it is sufficient to have a determined decision that you are making, and you go, yes, I will do this, or no, I won't do this, and then you will try your best to fulfill it, whatever it is. But you shouldn't be swearing at all. And you see there again that there is a change from the educational process of the Old Covenant, of the Old Testament, to the New Covenant, the New Testament. You have examples of the Old Testament where humans are entering into oaths with God, like Abraham, like Noah, and also later on you see kings of Israel swearing and putting oaths out there. And for the first time they are complying with their swears, they are complying with their oaths, and when they comply their oaths, like Deuteronomy tells you, that if someone gives an oath to the Lord and says, okay, I won't eat for so many days to glorify you, and scripture says you have to fulfill what you are swearing to the Lord, because the Lord will ask you for this promise that you make, and if you fulfill what you have been swearing in the Old Covenant, it converts into a blessing for you. You're binding yourself to not eating so and so many days for a certain reason, or you're sad because someone has died, and you bind yourself for not to doing this or that for so many days, for the glory of the Lord and for his honor. And if you fulfilled it in the Old Covenant, it transformed into a blessing for you. But if you're not fulfilled it, it transformed into a cursing for you, right? And there are many different examples about this mechanism, like it says in Deuteronomy 23:21 to 23 verse, "When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee." And that's what I'm saying, that anyone that made an oath to the Lord, swearing to the Lord to do this or that, binds himself to do something. And if you're not fulfilling what you have sworn, then it converts into a curse unto you, because you haven't held true to your word. And here it says, "Thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee." So it's important to understand that swearing means to bind things. The definition of swearing says to make a solemn statement or promise undertaking to do something or affirming that something is the case. An affirmation, binding something. Synonyms are promise, vow, promise under oath, solemnly promise, pledge oneself, give one's word, take an oath, swear on the Bible, give an undertaking, undertake, affirm, warrant, state, assert, declare, ever, proclaim, pronounce, profess, attest, guarantee. Example, Mariah made me swear I would never tell anyone. So it's kind of binding something so strong that it can't be broken. And therefore, the worst thing, one of the worst sins that you could commit is swearing something and then not doing it, breaking it. The second part of the definition says, use offensive language especially as an expression of anger. Peter swore under his breath. Synonyms: to curse, to blaspheme, utter profanities, utter oaths, be foul-mouthed, use bad foul language, be blasphemous, take the Lord's name in vain, swear like a trooper, damn, etc. So you see, swearing always leads into blessing or cursing. But of course, you shouldn't swear at all if you are not strong enough and not clean enough to fulfill what you are swearing, right? So you have many different examples in the Bible where someone is swearing. Like you have the book of Ruth. She's swearing to her family member that she will not depart from her, that they will stay with her, and she says, where thou diest will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. Right, so you have Ruth here that is swearing an oath, binding herself to not depart from the only family member that is left to her, and she eventually is fulfilling the oath, right? And therefore God blessed her. But there is a kind of a risk to it, you know. You have to be very sure in the time of the old covenant to bind yourself to an oath. And you see that swearing always is binding. It's binding something to good or to bad, sealing to good or to bad. That's also why to swear means to curse and to blaspheme, because using the Lord's name in vain, that's cursing. That's basically cursing yourself. That's why you shouldn't swear. And you see also that there are people like David or Saul, and they also take oaths on them. They swear in different situations. For instance, Saul took an oath and swore that if someone was breaking one of his rules that he gave out to the people, this person needs to die. And he's taking an oath to God that even if it would be his son, or it doesn't matter who it is, he has to die. He says in 1 Samuel 14:44, he talks about his son Jonathan. They are talking about who has broken the rules that he gave out, and they are casting lots between him and the people. And in the end, the lot fell on Jonathan his son. So he says, Then Saul said to Jonathan his son, Tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die, because his father has commanded that no one should eat on this day, and his son has broken this law that came from the king. And Saul answered with swearing, God do so and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. But at the same time, Jonathan was the one who brought victory to the Israelites in this day. So it goes on, and the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid. As the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. So Saul was taking an oath on him, binding himself, using the name of the Lord, saying, okay, even if he is my son, I will put him to death anyway, even though my son was the one that has brought victory to the people and to our country, and he puts his own pride above the victory and the salvation that God wrought through the victory in Jonathan, right? And that's why God led him in this situation where Jonathan was rescued by the people of Israel, and they say, no, nobody will touch Jonathan, even though you have sworn, we don't care, you won't kill him today. So they rescued his son from the prideful wrath of his father, who shouldn't have sworn in the first place, right? And then you have more and more situations of people, as history goes down, more and more people that are binding themselves through oaths and swearing, and they are not fulfilling the oaths. And as the bloodlines from first man, you have good people and evil people, and you have mixed blood in the middle. So as time runs by, Satan tries to defile all the bloodlines that he can. You have the sons of the devil, the bad ones, that are already the most defiled, and they are like walking demons up to this day. And you have in the middle the more or less defiled bloodlines, and you have on the other side the bloodline that Satan tries to defile to avoid that the Messiah comes. But God already knew all that, and he had the perfect plan to keep one bloodline clean, so the Messiah can come in through this bloodline into this world, right? And so as the bloodlines get messed up and they get defiled and they get dirty, like you have clean water that comes from the spring, and then it spreads up into different rivers, Satan tries to pollute all those rivers. And as history goes down, human history goes down, they are more and more polluted. They are more and more polluted, so they eventually can't take any oaths on them without being tempted beyond their measure of resistance, beyond their strength, right? And that leads up from God, from firstly saying don't swear, but if you bind yourself, keep it. And before that, there were already people that made promises to God and they just obeyed Him, and they were clean enough, so there was no need to express this requirement and to articulate that God will require your fulfillment of your oaths, right? But then people get more and more unable to comply the oaths, and they are ending up cursing themselves more and more instead of complying the oath and transforming the binding into a blessing, right? And that's the reason why Jesus finally steps up the how to manage our commitment from taking oaths into a determined heart and saying yes, yes, or no, no, instead of swearing onto something that we don't have any control over. And that's why Jesus says, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. If you're swearing by heaven, you're swearing about something that's not in your control. There are people like they go, I swear you by the beard of my grandfather. Like that's saying if it wasn't true, if I was lying, or if I were not complying with what I'm saying, my grandfather would lose his beard, right? Because you're putting something at stake to affirm a certain thing or a certain truth. Like, I swear you by the new car that I bought that Peter crossed the street at 3 o'clock on Monday, right? But if it comes out that Peter never was crossing the street, that he not even has been in the same city, and it's proven, you would have to lose the car, or you would have to destroy the car. You bound your car by the oath that you have taken, and if then the oath is broken and it's not fulfilled and it's proven against you that this person has never been in the city and that it was all a lie, or that it was not true what you said, then you have cursed yourself and you have put your car at stake, and you would have to destroy the car. Which of course the people, they don't do that. They swear on something, and then even if they were wrong, they are not fulfilling the requirements of the justice of God. So they end up bringing rainy, cursy clouds above their heads by what they do. And Jesus leads us out of this dilemma by saying, just don't swear at all. Don't do it. Just say yes and do the best you can, but don't bind yourself. Because Jesus wants to set us free. He doesn't want to bind ourselves, and He doesn't want ourselves to bind ourselves by our own ignorance or our own foolishness. So He is lifting up our conscience to don't do those stupid things. He also says, nor swear by the earth, for it is God's footstool. Neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. He's saying it's not yours. Don't swear by anything that's not yours. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. Like he's saying, even the color of your hair is completely beyond your control. So why would you use swearing by your hair or swearing by the beard of your grandfather, or whatever expression you use in your culture? Why would you put at stake something that's completely beyond your control? Because you end up cursing yourself. Okay, I think that's enough for today. I hope that was inspirational for you guys and it helps. So try to not get yourself into trouble taking legal compromises that you don't have to take, and enjoy your freedom in Christ instead, and don't let other people bring you into foolish situations that end up binding yourself onto something or someone. So be blessed in Jesus' name, and see you the next time. Bye bye.